Most people believe intelligence guarantees wealth. If you're smart, you'll figure money out. If you get good grades, land a strong career, and think logically, financial success should naturally follow. That's the story we're told growing up. Work hard in school, be the smart one, and everything else will fall into place. But here's something uncomfortable. Some of the smartest people you know will never build real wealth. Not because they're lazy, not because they lack ambition, but because intelligence and wealth reward very different behaviors. And sometimes being smart can actually work against you. Think back to school. There was always that one person who understood everything immediately. Straight A's, advanced classes. Teachers constantly praised them. Everyone assumed they would be wildly successful. Fast forward 15 years. They might have a respected career. Maybe they're a doctor, engineer, attorney, consultant. They make solid money. On paper, they're doing great, but financially, they're stressed. Big mortgage, car payments, student loans, expensive lifestyle, very little invested. Meanwhile, someone who wasn't considered the smartest kid quietly built wealth. They started investing early. They kept their lifestyle controlled. Maybe they built a small business or bought assets consistently. Now they have options. They have freedom. So what happened? The difference isn't intelligence, it's psychology. School trains you to optimize for correct answers. There's always a solution. You gather information, apply logic, and get rewarded for being right. But money doesn't reward perfect answers. Markets are uncertain. Business is unpredictable. Outcomes are rarely guaranteed, and uncertainty triggers something powerful inside your brain. There's a small structure called the amygdala that acts like your internal alarm system. When it senses danger, it activates fear responses. The problem is, it doesn't know the difference between a real physical threat and a financial one. When the market drops or your investments lose value, your brain reacts as if something is wrong right now. Your heart rate rises. Your thoughts speed up. You feel urgency. Do something. That emotional pressure is powerful. Smart people feel it too. But here's the twist. Highly intelligent people are extremely good at rationalizing emotional reactions. They don't say, I'm scared. They say, given the current macroeconomic instability, reallocating capital seems like the responsible move. It sounds strategic. It sounds thoughtful. But often it's fear wearing a suit. Intelligence becomes a tool to justify emotional decisions. Less analytical investors sometimes outperform simply because they don't overcomplicate things. They buy solid assets. They hold. They ignore noise. They don't need to be brilliant. They need to be consistent. Wealth doesn't usually reward the person who makes the smartest move once. It rewards the person who makes steady moves over decades. Another trap smart people fall into is overconfidence. If you've been rewarded your entire life for being right, you begin to associate intelligence with correctness. You expect yourself to figure things out quickly. But investing requires being wrong sometimes. Losses are normal. Markets fluctuate. Even the best investors make mistakes. Smart people often struggle with this emotionally. Being wrong feels like a threat to identity. So instead of accepting losses and adjusting calmly, they double down to prove they're right. Or they avoid investing altogether because they don't want to feel foolish. That's not intelligence. That's ego protecting itself. Then there's analysis paralysis. You research for weeks. You compare strategies. You watch endless videos. You build spreadsheets. You try to optimize every detail, and you still don't start. Why? Because there might be a better option. There might be a smarter approach. But wealth favors time, not perfection. Someone who starts investing imperfectly at 22 will almost always outperform someone who waits until 32 to find the perfect plan. The smartest strategy in theory often loses to a simple strategy executed consistently. Now let's talk about dopamine. Dopamine is the chemical in your brain that makes you feel rewarded. It spikes when you get quick wins. Smart people are used to fast feedback loops. Study hard, get an A, solve a problem, receive praise. There's immediate validation. But investing doesn't work that way. You invest money and nothing exciting happens for months, sometimes years. Saving doesn't feel thrilling. Watching compound interest build is quiet, slow, invisible at first. So your brain looks for faster rewards. You get a raise, and upgrading your lifestyle feels good immediately. A nicer apartment, a better car, a new watch. It feels like proof that you're succeeding. And you did earn it. But here's the problem: wealth isn't built by showing success. It's built quietly, often invisibly, for a long time. Lifestyle inflation is one of the biggest reasons high-income intelligent people stay financially stuck. As income grows, expenses grow, and if expenses rise as fast as income, wealth never compounds. Imagine two people. One earns $150,000 a year. Highly intelligent, disciplined, logical. But they upgrade quickly. Expensive rent, luxury car lease, frequent vacations. After taxes and expenses, there isn't much left to invest. The second person earns $70,000. They keep their lifestyle controlled. They invest 20% consistently. 10 years later, the second person may have more net worth. Income matters, but behavior determines the outcome. Risk perception plays a role too. Intelligent people are very good at identifying what could go wrong. They see the downside clearly. But if you focus only on risk, you avoid opportunity. Wealth requires calculated risk, not reckless gambling, not blind speculation, but action despite uncertainty. If you wait until everything feels certain, you'll wait forever. Identity is another powerful factor. If you grew up being labeled the smart one, you may subconsciously chase validation through status, degrees, titles, promotions, high salary. There's nothing wrong with ambition. But wealth often comes from ownership. Stocks, businesses, real estate, assets that generate income whether you're working or not. Employees trade time for money. Owners build systems. Many smart people stay in structured careers because they feel predictable and safe. But safety doesn't always scale. Ownership does. Social circles reinforce this. If everyone around you measures success by salary, you start measuring success by salary. But salary is not wealth. Wealth is assets. Wealth is freedom. Wealth is time. You can earn a high income and still have very little financial security if you don't build ownership. Another hidden issue is delay. High achievers often believe they'll figure money out later. They assume future income will solve current financial habits. But compound interest rewards early action. Waiting costs more than imperfect starting. The earlier you begin investing consistently, the less pressure you feel later. Intelligence doesn't replace time. Nothing replaces time. So how do you avoid the smart but broke cycle? First, detach your ego from money decisions. You will be wrong sometimes. That's normal. Being wrong doesn't mean you're not intelligent. It means you're human. Second, simplify your strategy. You don't need complexity to build wealth. A basic long-term investing approach beats constant optimization. Third, automate. Automatic investing removes emotion from the process. When decisions are automated, fear has less influence. Fourth, delay visible rewards. Invest before upgrading your lifestyle. Let your wealth grow quietly. You don't need to signal success to everyone around you. Fifth, redefine what smart means. Smart isn't predicting market crashes. Smart isn't timing the perfect entry. Smart is controlling yourself during volatility. Smart is staying consistent when others panic. Smart is thinking in decades, not days. The market doesn't reward the smartest person in the room. It rewards the most disciplined, the most patient, the most emotionally steady, and here's the good news. Emotional control can be trained. Patience can be practiced. Long-term thinking can be learned. You don't need a genius IQ to build wealth. You need self-awareness. You need discipline. You need consistency. Being smart is powerful, but only if you combine it with humility, patience, and action. Otherwise, intelligence becomes a tool for justifying fear, delay, and ego-driven decisions. The smartest financial move you can make is improving your right. It's building systems that work even when you're wrong. Because wealth isn't about winning every decision, it's about staying in the game long enough for compounding to do its work. I'm Brandon Invests, and if this helped you understand the psychology of finance, subscribe for more.